seventh commandment says, never pry into a person's personal circumstance, right? They'll tell you all eventually. Don't be too forward in asking for personal information, otherwise you kill the discussion. So a con artist is just telling you about there is a skill, there is a finesse to doing this. And you'll learn it. You probably make a few mistakes along the line before you get it right. But there is a science, to this, also such as much as there is an art to it, right? But you don't become too forward, right? Sometimes for some people so for some con artists there in con artistry, there's the long game, there's the short game, and sometimes someone that wants to play the short game is trying to do some tests. Have I gotten the person or not? So sometimes they ask some questions which are intentional, but if they see the response, they apologize for it and say they didn't mean it, but they meant it. It was trying to see by how much have I got into this person's head or not, right? And it happens between boys and girls, boys trying to toast a girl, every once in a while they'll do something out of the curve, but it's intentional. They're trying to see by how much is this girl into me or this boy is into me. And that gives them some feedback as to how far they've gone along whatever aim they're trying to do and trying to bring about this relationship, right? Most times, if it's a genuine relationship, he will be allowed to run his course. Nobody's going to be too much in a hurry, to land something on the other one. You tread carefully, you tread gently, right? You don't build a relationship overnight, right? It's one small step after the other. You layer it, right? You layer it, right? And we'll talk about that very soon about the importance of layering information. Because if you don't layer information, you you um you kill the deal. You confuse the other person. You give a distaste to the person you're communicating with. People receive things in layered format, right? Is one step upon the other, is one stone upon the other, is line upon line, precept upon precept, right? You build on that. The relationships are built, right? And one thing comes before the other. If you overstep, take too much of a big step out of place, you might kill the relationship before it even starts. So the con man knows this, and that's why he's not going to pry to not be in a hurry to go into asking you for personal things. He knows that by the time it's done getting into your head, you'll give it of your own accord. Right. And that is also same thing, with general relationships. By the time you're forming a relationship, once that relationship gets to the right place, people will exchange personal information, by choice. Not you don't have to ask. Say someone is going to fully give you their phone number, house address, whatever, because that relationship is in that place, for that, right? So you need to be watchful, and not jump the gun, right? Even if you're honest, right? The con man is not honest. He's trying to abuse trust, but they're good at this because this is what they do for their living, They're good at this. They are trained by the devil himself, so they know what to do. Is we innocent people that trying to form relationship, because we're innocent. We sometimes we jump the gun. I remember some lady here in my estate, uh we got to meet just because I exercise every morning and she exercises also. And over time we spend a lot of time talking, personal things, counseling, talking about depression, all of those stuff, the things I love to talk about, and at some point, I think I forgot why. In all of that, I never even had a phone number, never asked a phone number. But there was Sometimes I'd not seen her for a long while, and I was I forgotten what I said, but it didn't hit well on her, It was like I was overstepping my bounds. But it was for me it was an innocent, you know, comment out of love, out of care. I don't need anything, that it was out of step, right? And so that for me is a data point, that helps me, in engaging with other people. So that there is a finesse to it. There is a finesse to it, that as you engage with people, but never be in a hurry if you want to have a relationship with anybody. Just let it go through its normal course, right? Obviously, I've not always known this, right? I'm not always known this. I remember 28 years ago, I used to before I got married, obviously, I used to chase after a relationship, and it didn't work, but I was young, stupid, but I feared God, so everything was within ethical boundaries. But I know much more today. I can speak to my younger self, and I would have done better than I'm doing, you know. Yeah. So, but we can learn and grow along that. All right, the eighth commandment of the Ten Commandments of a con man, it says, never boast. It says, never boast. If never boast. If you, and that's a relationship killer. Never boast. It's a relationship killer. Sometimes it kills you also. Over the weekend, this weekend, I read about someone, I think the name is Didi or so. Was it today or yesterday? I was reading it. He came from abroad to come spend December here in Nigeria. And his friend who was here in the village, he took him to the bush and killed him with a machete. I don't know all the story about it, but those are things that can happen if you boast, right? If you because our fingers aren't equal, right? People grow, we will grow in different directions. For me, I'm a WhatsApp group of people I went to elementary school with. I left elementary school in 1978, right? I mean, I'm on a WhatsApp group with people I went to secondary school with. I left secondary school in 1983. I'm on a WhatsApp group with people I was in the engineering faculty with Unipan. I left 1990, right? And we all have grown in different direction, right? Some are behind, some are ahead, all of that. So one has to be careful, when we all come together, not to boast, otherwise, you'll create enemies you don't need in your life, right? You're who you are, and you don't have to make any other person look small because you're you. You need to be humble and just be you, not just be you without putting anybody down. Obviously, not looking down yourself. Just life is not about comparing ourselves to another person. Life is about enjoying enjoying who we are, not oppressing anybody by boasting above them or being suppressed by anybody also. Life is not about comparison. When you compare, you'll make both public enemies and you make secret enemies, right? I guess the most dangerous are the secret enemies, people that smile with you, but are your enemies. They are just planning where they'll get you. And you have many of those circumstances. You have a lot of that without even boasting. People just don't like you because you're you.